Hello and welcome to our Hearthstone Budget Hunter guide. I am JJ, this is TrashcanTV, and we're bringing you the most elite Hearthstone decks on a beginner's budget for the Scholomance Academy expansion. Today, we're going over the Budget Hunter, as I said. If you want to see how this deck plays, we're going to have some sample games later, and we're going to have some stats at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Leave a like if you enjoy this kind of video, comment what you want us to do next, or if you have any questions, of course leave those there as well. And be sure to join our Discord server if you want any advice from more experienced Hearthstone players, or just talk to beginners like you as well. We'd love to have you. We are also going to make more budget decks in the near future, so check those out. We already have released our budget druid video, so you can check that out on our channel, info card up top. And let's get into the actual deck. So this archetype is called a Face Hunter, and the core idea is to deal a lot of damage to your opponent's face, that means their hero. The deck code for this is in the description below, so you can just copy that and import it to your game. This deck costs 1,520 dust with 18 commons, 8 rares, and 4 free cards. So this is actually one of our cheaper budget decks, because conveniently enough it does not actually run any epics. So key cards in this deck is obviously, as I said, this is we're trying to deal damage to the face, and the best way to do it with a hunter is the hero power. So the core cards are those that interact with the hero power. We have Dwarven Sharpshooter, so you can target minions, especially useful against other aggro decks. Tour Guide, so your hero power becomes cheaper and you can play a minion on top of it. And the Face Stalker pulls secrets out of your deck to then also get some extra use out of your hero power. Also, the Face Stalker has very good stats in of itself, so that's nice. And the kind of tech cards in this deck, if you will, are actually a bit different from how you normally would approach tech cards in other decks. Normally you would have a card that maybe destroys a weapon or something, and that's then a tech card because it counters a specific threat. Our tech cards are kind of the secrets. It's 1 freezing trap and 2 pressure plates to destroy big minions or to put them back in our opponent's hands, specifically aimed or primarily aimed at defeating decks like Libram Paladin and Guardian Elmo's Druid. So these aren't tech cards in as far as we would always run secrets in different versions of Face Hunter, but more the exact secrets we choose. So that's a bit unusual, but I think it's still very straightforward. And if you have it, there is one card that can go into this deck that is not currently in here, because this is a budget deck, and that card is the Dragonbane. Once again, as I said, core concept using the hero power a lot, so after you use your hero power, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. Really good. Really good legendary. It's really the only legendary that is supposed to go in this deck, so it's one very nice thing. If you want to put it in, I would personally take out and Unleash the Hounds. Some people might say take out one of the animal companions. It's a bit related to personal preference. Now, it's all nice and good to know what is in the deck, but the question is, now you're starting a game, and what cards do you actually want to keep on your starting hand? And the cards you definitely almost always want to keep, maybe not exactly if you have 2 copies of them, but generally the cards you want to keep are Adorable Infestation, Intrepid Initiate, and Imprisoned Felmaw. Those 3 are the best cards to have in your starting hand. Kind of a secondary consideration would be Scavenger's Ingenuity, especially if you already have something to play on 1. Demon Companion as a really strong 1-drop as well. And maybe even the Dwarven Sharpshooter. And then cards you definitely do not want to keep are all of the 3-cost cards, that is Eaglehorn Bow, Kill Command, Animal Companion, Unleash the Hounds, as well as the secrets, Freezing Trap and Pressure Plate. Those are cards you don't want to have in your starting hand. In case of the secrets, mostly because the main way you want to play them is through the Face Stalker and not from your hand. And the 3-cost cards are just too expensive for the start of the game. You really want to have that consistency. Our first opponent is a Priest. Not exactly one of the best matchups, but actually kind of workable, surprisingly enough. We've got some good keeps here on the starting hand. Well, not Freezing Trap, but Initiate is decent. Felmaw is great. I love it. Oh, Infestation is a great follow-up for Initiate, as a matter of fact, though we probably will play the Felmaw. Those situations happen. We'll have to see now if he is actually playing a Galakrond Priest, a Highlander Priest, which I think also runs Galakrond, or the Quest Priest. The Quest Priest will be kind of annoying because we want to deal damage to him and he wants to heal damage dealt to him. Forbidden Words. I don't mind it as much, because that kind of makes my decision a lot easier here to just play the Imprisoned Falmor. Next turn I have Animal Companion, so significant impact play. Though that Veil Weaver is not exactly something I like to see. But I don't think there's really something much better we can do right now. No, we'll just play the Animal Companion. Misha is fine. Huffer would have been great, of course, to potentially kill the Veil Weaver. Leok has the interesting side effect that the Falmor, when it awakens, actually deals more damage. Madame Lazul, being able to see our entire hand and picking one of the cards. I think it's gonna be Infestation, and I think he's gonna play it on the Veil Weaver if he feels like it. He does not feel like that, okay. I guess that's the worst thing. Kills a Lazul, that's unfortunate because we really wanted to kill that Veil Weaver, of course, so I'm gonna hit it with the Misha. I'll play it a little bit slower here, but I think it's still fine. I'll play the Falmor, and I think I will actually then play the Adorable Infestation on the Misha, and I'll even play the Cub, because I know I have the Reader for refill. If he does play a Nova now, for example, Holy Nova that is, the Misha actually lives, which is the main reason why I buffed Misha over Falmor. Now, of course, the argument for if I expect him to play that, or Breath for that matter, Breath of the Infinite, then I should not have played the Cub, but because I have Voracious Reader next turn, I don't think that's as bad. Especially if the Ingenuity can give me a Wolpertinger, I can drop my entire hand and still re-establish a strong board. Doesn't seem like he has a board clear here. Invoke Skeletron instead. Penance to kill off the Misha. That's fair. And coins out the card he got from the Madame Lazul, it seems, which is a Voracious Reader. Very interesting. I would have expected him to pick the Infestation, but hey, to each their own. I don't think the secrets are going to be that great right now, so I'm going to draw, hope to get a Wolpertinger. Did not get a Wolpertinger. I'm going to just play the buffed beast here and start hitting him in the face. It's kind of what we want to do. It's not the most optimal play. It would have been a lot better if I had drawn the Wolpertinger, of course. 2 Wolpertingers, 1 Face Doctor in the deck, so kind of a better odds there for the Wolpertinger. But having the 4/5 body is almost as good as having 2 3/3s. That did mean I couldn't play the Reader on the same turn, so it is still a bit worse. But if I can get a secret off him later, that might still end up being worth it. That Kel'Thuzad is potentially kind of dangerous. We'll have to see. Falmor awakens if it hits the Kel'Thuzad, of course. No, it hits the face. I mean, it's kind of where we want it to go normally. I think I can just play the second Face Stalker, and then play the Voracious Reader. Hero Power. So now he has 2 minions, and of course one of the secrets is the Pressure Plate, so if he plays a spell, he's going to kill the Kel'Thuzad. I'm going to take out the Reader and hit him in the face with the Marsul. Normally not optimal, but again, considering the secret setup here, that makes a lot of sense to me. Because he will presumably play a spell. Or that, he's played a lot of cards that he then did not get really the payoff for, with the Veil Weaver and so on and so forth. He froze the Kel'Thuzad. I think it's still worthwhile. We have... Now this is an important point, right? We have 9, 11... With the hero power, we have 13 points of damage, 14 with Infestation. So we're 1 point off. If Animal Companion does not give us Misha, we win. We win. So yeah, very simple win there, and our opponent already concedes, so that's the first game showing that we can in fact beat Priest. Alright, we're facing a Paladin. Kind of notorious on the ladder, but as I've said in the intro, the way we built the secrets is kind of intended to play around Paladin. I'm only going to keep the tour guide, hopefully not going to be my turn 1 play, but, you know, sometimes it has to. Falmor is really good. Now, normally you don't necessarily want to play the coin on 1, but Falmor is like the one card where it really turns out to be worthwhile, because you're getting this huge minion that is supposed to be getting turn 4 on turn 3, and it's also going to be able to attack then, so it's actually very strong. Okay, it's Libram Paladin, big surprise. Our opponent plays his Aldor Attendant, and we play our Falmor. And this is where the secrets are really going to shine. Once you play a Pressure Plate and he has like 1 minion on board and he buffs it, it's just instantly gonna die. The buff and the minion being wasted. So there's gonna be some good stuff we can do with those. Shotbot. It's a very solid card, makes sense for him to include it. There is an idea here to maybe take the Shotbot down a peg. I don't know how worthwhile that is though. I think I'll do it because I don't have much better to do. So playing the tour guide here to be able to play the hero power at the same turn as I play the sharpshooter. Now, where it really shines, of course, is if you have Scavengers, Face Stalker on turn 3, and then you play that with the tour guide. That can be really good, but you know, there's definitely always uses for it. He pushes the hero power, hits all of his minions into the sharpshooter, something that I kind of foresaw as a possibility. We're gonna see where the Felmar goes. If that hits him, that's the second best place that could have gone. I think I'm just gonna trade the 1/1s and play the Initiate with a Freezing Trap. The Freezing Trap is not gonna do anything right now, it's just to activate the Initiate. We know that he doesn't have a minion on board right now, so that means we expect his secret not to be triggered anytime soon. Pressure Plate could potentially lead to some situations where he plays a small minion, then he plays First Day at School, and then we don't really get much out of it. So I feel less wasteful playing the freezing there. He plays High Absolura, so you know, the logic doesn't actually hold up. Should have definitely played the Pressure Plate there. Gets the worst spell he could have possibly gotten off of it, and I think it's just time to go somewhat aggressively here. I'll play the Pressure Plate to control the board, and I'll play the Hero Power, and then I'll, of course, hit him in the face a couple times. Now, allowing Libra Paladin to keep minions is normally a bit of a dangerous pursuit, because they will buff them. But right now, that's kind of what we want him to do, of course, because if he plays a buff spell, then his Allura is just gonna die. And he's playing his Scarlet Subjugator. Have not seen that one in a while. Now, granted, the Allura is a really good target for him for the Freezing Trap because he can replay it next turn and then get another chance to get something good off of the spell. Gibberling is interesting. Now let's see where the secret hits, because if it kills a Gibberling, that's going to be good. If it kills a Subjugator, it's slightly less good, but it's still fine. I think we want to hit the Gibberling, the small one. There we go. And then I think we want to play everything except for the kill command and use the hero power and just keep putting on the pressure. Just say you can't win this fast enough. Because he will have to deal with our board now, and yes, he can have some buffs to make it a little bit easier on the way, but it's not going to be that much, and as long as one Wolpertinger lives, we do have the kill command, so we can, between kill command and hero power, push 7 points of damage. He has reduced, with the Elder Tenant, his Librum's cost by 1, so Librum of Hope is not within range quite yet. So unless he has a Allura and another 0-cost spell, which, again, he's played both First Day at Schools already, so I don't really see him stabilizing particularly significantly this turn. So he'll probably kill the Initiate and the Felmar. Exactly as I said. Or, okay, he kills a Wolpertinger. As long as he doesn't kill the other one, that might actually be worse. Yeah, that's a minion. So, Pressure Plate could be a bit slow. We don't have something good for the Elder Truthseeker though. I think I'm just gonna Pressure Plate, Hero Power, pass. It seems like a very inactive play, but since we can't really deal with the taunt very well, and there's a chance he's gonna do something that kind of kills the taunt already, we don't really want to aggressively pursue it right now. And having the Felmar on the board to awaken next turn means that potentially we could also have some good damage either into the face or into the taunt. Then he's gonna get some good trades, that's kind of unavoidable. but we could also get potentially a lot of damage next turn. If he plays a spell now, then he's gonna have a 50-50 shot of killing the taunt, which is kind of what we want him to do. Plays Devout Pupil, that's kind of the worst thing he could have played from our standpoint, but it still seems like there's a chance, though right now it really depends a little bit on what we draw. 1 in 5 is not a good shot for hitting him in the face. That was the worst thing we could have hit there. Yeah. I mean, we have to play the Sharpshooter just to establish a little bit on the board. The question is, can we afford to start trading into his minions? I don't think so. I think we're just going to have to push damage into the face, kind of hoping that we can get a turn where we can refill just enough to kill him with like 2 kill commands or something. Because if we draw kill command, we don't have a beast then. It's a bit awkward right now because we kind of need kill command and a beast, and the only way we can get more than 1 card in a turn is if we get Voracious Reader. So we'll just have to see how we can make that one happen. Second Pupil, so basically at this point there's like no chance for us to really win through the board, and this deck isn't exactly built to go around his board as much. I'm gonna play the Face Stalker, I'm gonna hit the hero power, I'm gonna hit the kill command in the face as well. So now he's at 4 health, so now 2 hero powers or 1 kill command and the hero power, even without a beast, can kill him. Oh right, never mind, he actually has lethal. To be fair, I didn't see that, but I also had no way of preventing that. So this was a bit unfortunate, but I think this still showcased how good we can go and how close it can sometimes get. Paladin, not a great matchup, but I think we did decently well. Yeah, let's do one more and then see where this goes. Alright, we have a Rogue. Rogue generally plays the Stealth Aggro build, which is, you know, it's kind of similar in goals to what we're doing. I think we can afford to keep the Ingenuity here. So some of the things that we want, of course, are Drone Sharpshooter to just kind of deal with his stuff that he puts down. I think the Initiate can be really good here as well, because we can just play Ingenuity on 2 and still get significant stats out of it. Ferrocat is relatively slow as a start, so that's good for us. Might also be Galakrond Rogue, actually. I think Demon Companion is something we can't say no to, so I'm gonna play that. And then let me think for a second, that is also a really good one. I think I'm just gonna put the Adorable Infestation on there, establish as much board as possible, just push and try to win really fast, which is, of course, the best way to win with this deck. Sometimes you have to take a little bit slow, but if you don't have to, why do it? He seems to have something that he thinks deals with it. That's an Eviscerate that only deals 2, so he will have to also sack the Ferrocat, which does take 5 damage off the board, but also, yeah, we've tested this deck in 51 games in our tests for the series. That does not include the games you've seen in this video, nor does it include me climbing up with it this season, which went very well, but we didn't track the stats for that exactly, and also that some of those were lower ranked, so not as interesting. But in the Diamond ranks, when we tested this deck, we got 32 wins out of our 51 games, which puts us at roughly 63% win rate. Our best matchup was against Mage, where we won 4 to 5, and our worst matchup was against Demon Hunter, where we only won 1 out of 4 games. The average time for a game is slightly below 6 minutes, but it's very close. It's pretty much 6 minutes. And that brings us to the ratings. So, in our 4 categories, first of all, we have Lettering Speed, and again, 6 minutes for a game. That is not particularly slow, and combine that with the relatively stellar win rate, I would give this 5 out of 5. You have some decks that have maybe slightly faster games, you have some that have slightly faster win rates, but this consistency plus the game speed is just unbeatable. You saw in our third example game when we got an early lead and our opponent just conceded immediately. Those happen, but of course not as consistently, but that still is very good. In terms of difficulty to play, or rather simplicity I should say, I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5. It's sometimes a bit tricky when you want to play the secrets, but overall, every deck has a small wrinkle to it, but the playstyle in general is very straightforward, and I would say that this is one of the easiest decks to just pick up and play. In consistency over games, I would say this is also 5 out of 5 stars. There definitely are moments where it can go better or worse, but not outside of the bounds of any regular RNG. If you mulligan correctly, you are almost always going to have a very good playable hand on the start, and there's really very few situations where you draw dead. You saw it a little bit in the Paladin game in the middle, but even then, we had very good plays most of the time in the early game. We dropped off a little bit in the late game, but that always happens. And there's some high rolls, but it's generally very consistent. Last but not least, fun. Oh boy, isn't this subjective. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I generally don't like the very straightforward aggro decks that much, but I think something about the Hunter class and about just like going face and just every now and again just saying YOLO, just go for it, even though it's not always right, but sometimes sometimes it's just right, you just go for it, you ignore what your opponent is doing, you just go for it, and that can be kind of cathartic, so I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. To wrap this up, I'm gonna say if you have any questions about this deck or anything related to the video, then please leave us a comment, check out our previous budget decks if you want more inspiration, and of course subscribe for more in the future. Join our Discord server, I've said it in the beginning, but I can't say it often enough, it's a really great community, and if you want to learn Hearthstone or talk how to change a deck up, is this card good that I just pulled out of the deck is a question that comes up sometimes, and there will always be good answers, so, you know, just good place to be. And this was the video, so yeah, I was JJ. This is the TrashcanTV Budget series where we bring you the most elite Hearthstone decks on a beginner's budget in Scholomance Academy. See you in the next one.